the homepage, type in Mohr, M-O-H-R, stamps.com, enter Mohr, M-O-H-R. And then they did Unhappily Ever After, which was his other show. Not Ted McGinley's other show. Shit. Who created Unhappily? Who created... Ron Levitt.
There you go.
Ron Levitt created the show.
That's
that created a network.
Good. Smart man. Thank you.
Matt Groening and Ron Levitt created...
Groening of future... Simpsons fame. No.
Yeah.
We have a guy named Sam Simon on our staff, right?
He wrote for The Simpsons.
One episode.
Oh, really?
Made $400 million, yeah.
Wait.
He was on the creative team for it, yeah. That created it.
So he got it created by...
Yeah.
That really is for you showbiz neophytes out there. If you want to do anything, you got to get it created by credit.
Yeah.
I got one on Last Comic Standing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's your show?
Yeah.
That's a brilliant show, dude.
Well, somebody should pick it up. FX.
I'll talk to
Stay tuned.
I'll talk to Alki David, the crazy billionaire from Philmon.
Mm-hmm.
Who's a friend of mine. I'm going to be in business with them, doing commercials and stuff. That could be a home for it.
And
it's Netflix, but more bitchin'.
Yeah, and we're going to find the dailies with Keitel as Captain Willard.
Here's the good news. I just did a film a couple months ago.
Where the fuck is he?
with Roman Coppola, right?
Yeah.
So Roman, there's actually a skull from the Kurtz compound steps that Roman just gave me. They have a whole Apocalypse museum, and I know for a fact they have outtakes. So Roman, it's a really interesting little film called A Glimpse Inside the Mind of Charles Swan III. Charles Swan? A Glimpse Inside the Mind of Charles Swan III, yeah.
Is that out now?
No, we're going to do the festival tour and hope to get a release.
Is it a movie like you're producing with Roman?
Roman and I actually financed it together. We both wrote a check for $1 million and shot it here in LA. And it's Roman writing a story. It's All That Jazz meets Annie Hall. It's written about himself, written for me. It's a trip. Yeah. It's about love lost and why.
Who you said All That Jazz? Fosse, right?
Yeah.
Is he one of your favorite directors? Underrated.
That movie is...
Underrated, would you say?
Yeah, wow. That film's a masterpiece.
Lenny? Star 80?
Yeah, Star 80. Okay, let's talk about four performances I have that were not nominated. Forget didn't win, that I think are the greatest Academy crimes against humanity ever. Star 80 is one of them. Eric Roberts.
Yeah.
Not nominated.
He was on the podcast. You're in good company.
I love him. My Dad in Apocalypse. Not nominated.
That's yeah. And Eric was nominated for like Runaway Train, which is like, I guess.
I know. Here's where it gets worse.
Okay.
Al Pacino, Scarface, not nominated.
So I think Scarface is not so good.
That worked though. Come on.
No, when he first gets to America,
right,
it's some of the best shit you'll ever see. And then it just turns into like a cartoon to me.
Right, but it's the most quoted movie ever. That Jaws and Apocalypse, right?
My wife said, Goodfellas is to comics what Scarface is to rappers.
Interesting. Wow. That's really smart.
Because it's all we talk about. Comics, go get your fucking shine box.
I love it.
Motherfucking mutt. Keep him here.
And then the last one, I'm sure there's better examples and different ones, is...
it's a good game to play.
Is, in The Doors.
Kilmer? He didn't get nominated for that? People younger...
He was brilliant.
I'm 41.
I'm 46.
People younger than me think Val Kilmer is Jim Morrison.
Crazy, because he was that good.
Yeah.
And he sang that good.
I do.
Complicated guy.
What do you listen to? What are you rocking out to?
I'm a vintage rock and roller, man.
All right. Stones, Beatles, Doors.
Stones I don't look as a rock band. I look at them as a brilliant blues band.
They're a bar band.
Okay. Zeppelin's my favorite band.
Really?
And I'm a huge Slash fan. I think Slash, sorry Eddie, sorry Jimmy, is the greatest guitarist alive right now.
Did you see This Might Get Loud, the documentary with Jimmy Page?
Yeah. What was the kid doing in there?
I thought What Was the Edge doing in there?
Oh. I'm a huge U2 fan, so I can't...
they're one of my favorites.
Yeah,
but
I was there when they went color in Tempe.
Really?
People say they're there when Dylan went electric. I was there when U2 went color.
The helicopter shot coming over Sun Devil Stadium?
Yes. Yeah. But in
Goosebumps, bro.
What's the film called?
Rattle and Hum.
That's where the film goes color.
This is a song Charles Manson stole from the Beatles.
We're stealing it back. Yeah.
Charles Manson, you dumb fuck, Manson. Helter Skelter, he thought it was a black-white race war that he was going to bring on. And little did he know, if he would just sat tight for a while, he would have realized Helter Skelter was a ride at a carnival. Listen, Paul has admitted to that. It means nothing.
Seriously.
When you get to the bottom, you go back to the top of the slide, and then I'm coming down miles above you, and then I see you again. Because I went down the
I see you
fucking
again.
helter-skelter.
Wow.
And by the way, the most punk thing of its time is that opening, that opening guitar of Helter Skelter.
It's so good.
The Beatles somehow underrated. I know people right now listening going, how the fuck could the Beatles be underrated? Just go back and listen to all of it. You'll listen to Rocky Raccoon and go, this is better than anything Dylan's ever done.
Yeah.
Listen to fucking Helter Skelter, that opening, crushing.
Yeah, crazy, yeah.
All right, I'll say this. A serial killer did it because of the Beatles. It's always been the other way. Marilyn Manson's whole band is named after serial killers. It's always the bands trying to act like they're from the dark side.
Wow.
Manson took the fucking White Album and actually killed 7 people with it.
Yeah, wow.
Like, no, they're talking to me, bro. There's going to be a hole in the desert, and they're the angels, and I'm the 5th Beatle.
Wow.
And we're all going to fucking ride our chariot.
Emilio and I were riding our bikes on Point Doom. I was 9. He would have been 12 or 13 in Malibu 1,000 years ago. At my parents' house, obviously, where we lived, a guy comes out of the freaking shadows. It's right at dusk, right? Walks up and he says, hey, Martin here? I'm like, maybe. Do you know him? He's like, no. I mean, yeah, I know him, but I don't know him. I'm like, well, what are you doing? He says, well, you know the Beatles song, Come Together? When they say over me, they're talking about me. I'm the lamb. We're like, you know what? Just stay right here. Dad, call the cops.
Really?
Yeah, not cool.
You must get a lot
I'm the lamb.
I'm the lamb. He's the Lamb of God.
Yeah, man. Trip, right? Yeah. When they wrote Come Together over me, he said, that's me.
I'm me.
Yeah, and I'm like, so
I'm the
that's
lamb.
you.
Or is he the lamb in Gypsy?
Who the hell knows?
How old I am. Fucking a ridiculous scene in a play.
Thinking, well, for such an important guy, why did you walk here wearing that, you know?
I don't know whose bit it is, but it's not mine. But they go, people on LSD always, well, they don't really, but they die because the bit goes, they die because they always want to try to fly. How come they never try from the ground? Well, you have to go to the top of a building. Why don't you fucking take, it's not mine. I forget whose it is.
I love that.
What's harder, comedy or drama? For you?
Drama. I grew up on sitcoms, man. I have that whole timing rhythm thing in
These
my
are all
brain.
questions from my wife. That's why I was checking my phone. She's like, ask him this.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you why.
Comedy's easy for me.
Because it's either right or wrong.
Thank you. And if you have a sense of timing and
There's
rhythm.
no gray area.
None. It's either funny or it's not.
If I have to come to you and do a dramatic scene, I can go, look, or I can go, look.
Yeah.
There's no, however, I could cry, I can laugh, you
Right.
could think I'm crazy.
Right.
That's
It's
so
really
fun.
difficult,
You're the first actor to just go, no, comedy's easy.
A lot easier, yeah. Yeah.
Because it's either right or wrong.
And you don't go home having just exhumed a dear loved one that you cried over, feeling like shit because they're not there anymore, you know? I don't know how you get to emotional moments, but I have to use something that happened in my life.
You do?
Yeah, I can't.
tried that in Suicide Kings.
Great
and
movie.
It was so, thank you.
Great
it was
movie.
so terrible for me because I realized I'm not talking to anyone. I'm just thinking of some sad shit. I'm thinking about my grandfather just died. This is ridiculous.
I know.
But I heard your father thought of his parents.
He
What was the
did.
big crying scene that he did?
It was in a movie that it was a miniseries called Blind Ambition. He played John Dane in the whole Watergate thing, you know.
Yeah.
And he tells a really, really, really touching story that he wrote his dad's name just off frame when he's in a prison cell waiting to be arraigned or bailed out or something, and it was just off camera, but he positioned it in a way where the camera still had the best angle on him, and he just looked at it and just said, just roll, I'll tell you when I'm done. And it was on.
Wow.
His dad made cash registers for 55 years in Dayton, Ohio at the NCR, National Cash Register Company. I have one in my bar in there.
Is your grandfather?
Yeah.
Were you close with your grandparents?
I was close with my grandma. I never knew my grandpa on my mom's side because she was the victim, the product of a rape. My mom was. Didn't know the dad, so I don't know anything about hair
Your
loss.
mother,
Yes.
Martin Sheen's wife.
Yes, Janet Templeton.
Yeah.
Janet Sheen, yeah.
Is a rape,
yeah,
baby
her mom was
from
raped.
rape.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
And the guy was still around town, and they were kind of like, was it this guy? Was it that guy? And I'm like, find out. I want to know about my hair loss. I don't have hair loss, but they say you got to look at your
best hair in the
mother's.
business, you
Thank
prick.
you. But they say you got to look at your mom's dad, you know.
Backstage at the Tonight Show, Charlie Sheen comes into my dressing room, looks at my wife, goes, hey, have you ever used what is that, waterless shampoo, dry shampoo? Have you ever used that?
Right.
You ever use dry shampoo? And my wife goes, yeah, I use it all the time. He goes, is it good? What is that shit? Like, apparently you didn't think to shower before the Tonight Show. You're like, what are you, dry shampoo? And it's called PSSSSST. It's actually called, and my wife goes, yeah, it's called Psst. And you were very funny, where we both thought, like, is he fucking high? You go, my wife goes, yeah, Psst. And you go, oh, we're all standing here, you don't have to whisper. And my wife looked at each other for a second and went, oh shit, he's fucking funny.
Thank you.
Charlie's funny.
Thank you. I'm
So
funny because I just, like you, I don't take it all too seriously, man. You can't. We're in a business that creates fiction. How do you take fiction that seriously?
you
know?
play make-believe for a living.
Yeah,
How
man.
often do you talk to your dad about acting?
Oh, gosh. I'll talk to him about moments he's had in movies, and I'll ask him how he got there or what was going on before that and how he felt about it afterwards. I'm usually talking about sort of the surrounding experience than the actual moment, you know, because I'm curious about how a guy, what part of his brain he turns off and what part of his brain he turns on.
Right.
You know what I mean? And
But you don't go to him with a particular part in a script and go, what's your oh, you do?
Did a film called The Chase. It's kind of a disaster. Adam Rifkin, brilliant guy, dear friend of mine, wrote it and directed it, and I knew I was going to be stuck in a car the whole movie till the beginning and the end. I said to Dad, I said, there's not a lot of choices physically, head-wise, blah, blah, whatever, in a car.
Look left, look right.
Yeah. I said, what would you do? And he says, well, kind of on your own there, kid. You're kind of on your own there, kid.
I didn't take the movie, son. You did. You're the one that said, I'll do The Chase.
He told me not to do Platoon.
Well, I'm glad you did.
Yeah, me too. Thank you.
So's everybody else.
Oh, thank you. But people try to compare Platoon to Apocalypse. I just got to go on the record again and remind everybody, Platoon is good. It's boots on the ground. Boots on the ground. Apocalypse is, I think, the greatest film ever made. It's
way up there.
Yeah.
And it's Vietnam from the inside out, from the soul going outwards. It's a guy's journey. Everything is layered in quadruple entendre. The journey up the river is his own journey with himself.
Do you know I'd seen the movie 100 times before I knew freaking Fred Forrest's character name was Hicks?
No.
You see it for 1 second on his uniform? 1 second. I never caught it before.
That just happened to me watching Stripes, another war movie.
Dude, when they're coming back after that first day singing.
Lee Harvey.
Right.
You are it says Oswald on his.
Oh, God. Is that,
Bill Murray when he goes, Lee.
Right, but who's Oswald?
He has no lines. It's just some kid with a crew cut, like some Okie, and he goes, Lee Harvey, you are a madman.
Yeah.
And I wonder why I called him Lee Harvey. And it was like literally last month I go, fucking Oswald.
Wow, Trip.
Oswald.
Yeah. Trip.
Are you a conspiracy guy?
Big time, yeah.
Do you think that was really a dog in Cujo? Or do you think there was a guy in the suit?
I don't know if we should really even talk about that on the air,
All right, yeah. Do you think we landed on the moon? Do you think we landed on the moon? You're not that crazy.
I think we did.
Yeah.
And what a great achievement to go there in a craft with less technology on board than the iPhone.
I like that like Gene Cernan's up there hitting fucking golf balls.
Yeah.
Like, hold on, I'll come in a minute.
My favorite guy though, when people say, "Oh, I've been lonely lately," I'm like, "No, you haven't. Here's lonely." Captain Collins, right, stays in the ship when Armstrong and Buzz are on the moon, right? Yeah. He's in contact with Mission Control and the guys on the moon until he gets to the dark side of the moon. These are 2-hour orbits, right? He's on the dark side of the moon for 45 minutes, something smaller than this table in 1969, and he can't talk to anybody. And he does that like 25 times. That's lonely.
I never knew that.
That is lonely right there.
You know, there's like a...
Where do you go at that point?
You just deep into your training, boot camp.
Thank you.
You realize, I've been broken down and built back up for a reason. One day you might be on the dark side of the moon.
Exactly.
And there's no fucking Roger Waters or David Gilmour saying, run, rabbit, run. Right. That shit ain't happening.
No.
It's just beep.
Yeah.
You ever hear on the tapes when he lands on the moon, there's like an 18-second radio blackout for no reason that nobody could figure out. When they landed on the moon, you'll love this, bro. When they landed on the moon, Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong had the exact same rank. And Neil Armstrong was the flight commander. When they landed on the moon, right when they touched down, Buzz Aldrin goes, "So who's going out first?"
Come on.
Waited till they fucking got, because they never said it.
Wow.
They went through NASA, they go through everything so many times. They never said, then Neil, you will leave the capsule.
Right.
They never said it.
Wow.
And they were the exact same rank. It was just assumed Neil Armstrong would go out first because he was the flight commander.
Wow.
And that prick waited for like 5 years.
Wow.
Because he knew the second guy out who gives a shit. I see him at the Improv.
But he said it is a magnificent desolation, didn't he? That's his book, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I read it. I read half of it in a speed read. I was having dinner with him the next night, and then couldn't get in a word edgewise. Didn't need to read the book.
Those guys were animals. They could all fight.
Wow. Yeah.
They just fucked their way. You think you fuck a lot? Those NASA guys.
Forget about it. I've been to the moon. This guy makes movies. I've been to the moon.
But even before they went to the moon, it was before that, when Kennedy said we're going to put a man on the moon before the end of the century, they were down in Cocoa Beach. We're going to the moon. You heard President Kennedy. I'm one of the 8 guys.
In the history of
on
the
it, honey.
Yeah. Wow.
Ooh,
wow.
you want to surf? And now we'll go surf. And that's why they all hated John Glenn, because he was a born again. And he came, and then he got back to NASA, and he was like, yo, they're just surfing and fucking and drinking. Like, there's nothing going on. But there was nothing to do.
Right.
There was no program. They just made it around them.
They didn't even build the Saturn rockets, had they?